For this next step, we're going to take a closer look at the eyeball itself, move the eyelids closer to the shape of the eyeballs. Even the fox is very forward facing, and we're also going to take a look at the nose, which can be very unique from different animals. The shape I was just looking at the pig's nose, but the pig's eyelids are not going to be as different from the fox's eyelids as the nose, right? So the nose and ears tend to change a little bit more than the actual eyelid shape, although how forward facing they are is probably the biggest change on there. But those are easy things to move and change. So the first thing to remember when you're doing the eyeball is that you want to create it with a click drag in the front viewport. You want the poles of the sphere facing forward. So create polygon primitive. I have interactive creation going on, so that way when I click and drag, it'll create it where I need it. And then I'll go to sphere, and I'm going to do 12-sided and 8 on those height subdivisions. That means if I subdivide it, it'll go from 12 to 24. Same thing with my eyelids, going to go from 12 to 24. So they'll kind of match where the curves are when they bend and contort. And I did 8 on the height subdivision. So if I go in here and I click and drag, there we go. There's my eyeball. And then I will zoom in here, and you want to leave the diagonals on the eyeball. You want that nice sharp curve going all the way around. But we want this part right here, um, just the front. I want to connect that one time, and then I go to my move tool, and I can just barely bring that forward and maybe scale out a little bit too, and create that nice curvature. And then back here, do one more edge loop or edge ring, connect one time, and go to move, and then bring it just so that it's not a straight line between those three. Keep that curve going. There we go. That gives a little bit more space. I can grab this edge here now and double click, oops, this one here, and go to mesh tools, slide edge, and I can slide that back just enough just to create a little bit more space between. So yeah, so the front of this is going to have a little bit more detail. The back of it you're not ever going to see. So what I'll usually do here for the UV wrapping of the eyeball is go to the UV editor, give it a planar project, go to the UV editor, and then switch over to edge, get the edge behind the center, the middle, and you'll see in the perspective viewport that's behind the eyeball. So if the eyes roll in the back edge, you're never going to see that seam, right? So that's where you want your cut. So Shift X cut, go to face, grab all those faces, Control U, unwrap them. Whoa, make sure to grab all of them. Wow, I just barely missed that little tip. All right, Control U, grab the back. It's not important. Shrink it down even, so you don't really need to see it per se. And then you can grab this whole eyeball. Now the whole eyeball, a lot of times you will have an entire space dedicated to it. I like to have the eyeball as kind of forward facing on the camera as possible. So is this one going to go down the front? Yeah, so this side here, so you want this side axis here matching up and down facing the camera. Cool. Okay, once you're done with that, I brought mine over to the base creature we're working on. So I got this one here, and I shrunk it down over here into the middle of the UV set. It still has a pretty good amount of UV space on it, although sometimes you want way more than that for the eyeball, but only if it's got its own UV space, right? So for this one, since we're crunching everything on there, it's not as big as I would normally like it to be. So if I can really start packing these UVs, and that's why I said, don't pack them too tight yet, because you might, want to add some other stuff in there. So for this one, the eyeball, I probably want at least that much bigger so it can really hold the reflection and the detail for the colors and the little muscles if you want to put those in there. The backside that you'll never see. There we go. So that's a pretty big space right there for the eyeball, right? Let's see how this works. So I'm going to grab that eyeball that I made and turn off the checkerboard so we can see a little better. And D and then X, bring that down to the middle of the grid. And then we can Control Shift D. Oops, make sure that edit, duplicate special. Make sure that this is changed to 1, -1 on X. Oh, wait, maybe before we do that, let's see here. Yeah, let's make sure we, oh, I didn't move the pivot. I thought I did. There we go. Freeze it first, delete its history, and then you should be able to mirror it across. There it goes. That's better. And then I can even grab these two together and we can, well, let me make sure that the UVs are not overlapping each other. So go over here, unfold them. Whoa, that was odd. Whoa, didn't like that at all. Yeah, there's some times where I can take it out of the 0 to 1 space. That way, if I reconnect it here with everything else, there we go. I can still quite easily grab those and move them around. Oh, slide is on. Yeah, how in the hell I keep turning the slide button on? Don't even know. It's like a constraint. There it goes. Dirty rotten. Okay. So yeah, I wanted room for the mandible still and the pincher, and teeth and gum, stuff like that. So I'll continually move these around. So this should be fine for right now. And you can even make this a little tighter. That with the knowledge that I'm not done packing these in yet. Right, that most likely these eyeballs will have their own individual UV space. So we have these beautiful, magnificent eyes. And the tongue, is pretty good size. Teeth and the gums, pretty good size, but that's pretty good for now. We need an eyeball color as well as a mandible color. So it's looking kind of weird now. But this is a good neutral, like I can turn this into almost any creature, any quadruped head that I would need with the 12-sided neck, right? And the ears are popped in there correctly. But we want to move the eyelids and prepare the nose first. So um, let's put a material on for the eyeballs. So go to the hypershader here. So far I have eyelids, I have the mouth, I have the nose. I'm just using blends for now, so I'll do another blend. We'll call this one eyeballs. And for the color on this one, we'll do like stark white. I don't know. That should be okay. They have like an orange color. Let's do the orange. Heck with it. There we go. And make it at least somewhat unique. And then maybe a little more saturated, maybe even dark color. There we go. And then go in here to the object mode, grab these two objects, right click, add the eyeballs on there. Excuse me, there we go. Still not the same object, but they share the same pivot point, so good. So we'll combine them and then DX, bring the pivot back to the center of the world. So if I bring the eyeballs in separately into an application, they should appear correctly on the head somewhere that I need them. Oh man, what happened to the eyeball there? They like got totally contorted, like I effed something up. Looks like I maybe grabbed the UVs and was moving them without knowing. So, darn, great. Yeah, some snap is on. I snapped the grid on an accident somehow. I don't even know how I did that. So they got messed up somewhere along the line. So let's see if I can undo enough times. Okay, so that's where having a stock eyeball comes in handy, right? So F on the keyboard, P sphere. Does it have the UV still intact? It does. They're great big, so grab them. And just make sure this weird snap thing's not on still. Looks like it is. I don't know. That messing things up. I had to sneeze real hard, so I kind of messed something up. Retain component spacing. Yeah, I don't know. Snap's turned off. That's why I don't usually play with these settings much when I'm just getting these bare bones pieces done. Shrink it down. Good to go. Mesh display, average. Bring it into position. Look at it from the side view. Here we go. It's great big, still it's way too big. So locally we can scale it down Make sure I don't have any weird scaling things going on. There we go. And oh, let's look at that one over there and delete. The hell, dude? Delete it already. Okay, there we go. All right, so I got that one. And um, okay, the pivot is way up there still. I don't know how that happened. Center pivot to object, D and X. Bring it down to the grid. Make sure I didn't somehow crunch it again. Yeah, sometimes you grab stuff in the UV editor and move it on accident. It's pretty common. Okay, freeze it, delete. Oh, there it goes again. Ah, when I'm freezing it, it's doing it and I can't undo it. What the fork, dude? How's that possible? Oh, hmm. It's leaving behind boogers too. All right. Let's see. Okay, I just redid the eyeballs from scratch. I don't know what was happening, but I merged them together. They're equal. I average them out so they're not sharp. I can smooth them. You can see very minimal, except for the outer radius. And now that they're one object, I can thing and do this properly. I can grab the faces here. I can turn on symmetry. The death of me today. There we go. And I can adjust the size of these things, right? So pretty straightforward. Um, go to object mode, double check my pivots in the right space in relation to the head. That part looks okay. Um, double check there's not a history on there, freeze it, delete the history. There we go. So those last little bits are undone. And then I'm hoping, knock on wood, this works out all right. Let's go to the UV editor once again. I moved the eyeballs off to the side down here. We'll get into UDIMs later where you can actually do a pretty effective job of using the 0 to 1 space, also the 1 to 2 space here, and the 1 to 2 space up above. So right now we're just focused on packing everything into this 0 to 1 space right here. And I can go to this eyeball right here, this one, and turn off symmetry, right? And grab this one and move it off of the other one. And then Control U again. And then hopefully they're not backwards, right? So you got to double check your UVs when you're mirroring over separate pieces like this. It's pretty easy. If I turn on the checkerboard here, there we go. And then just as a test, I can scale them way up like that. And you'll see the lettering here if it's backwards. All right, so that one's backwards. So this one, or is it? That looks right. This one looks like it's backwards. So let's grab that one. Edit. And we got to flip, tools, modify, flip. There we go. And then go to move. We can see that it is indeed there. It's back in the right size. I mean, direction. So now I can scale these down together. There we go. And I'm just gonna pack them in small for now. I'm having I'm a bit of a time today. Don't know why. There we go. So they still have more space than with their neighbors. So it totally should work fine. Bring those up there. There we go. So the eyeballs fit nice and snug in there. Enough to, from 4K, definitely enough space there. And if these pieces here have enough space as well, we can easily give them their own UV space here. So careful I don't accidentally move anything. Actually, this is the back of the eyeballs, right? I can't believe I'm doing this again. This is not my day today. All right, there we go. That one, double click, bring that one in. All right. puzzle solved. We should have enough room for our mandibles. I'm hoping that goes smoothly. But yeah, these are facing the right direction. Awesome. All right, so let's turn that off. And let's look at the nose again. So yeah, I got to really fix this these eye sockets a tremendous amount. Get them at least close so I could bring them in and paint over them. And then the nose itself, you see it comes way down here to the bottom. So I made this a little bit taller than it should be in relation to the reference. So see it slopes way, way down here and comes out. So this is where it's more of a herbivore in its default, so I can change that. But then the nose comes down over here as well, so I can maybe add another edge loop and have it come down, or just space because the muzzle's pretty low down here. So yeah, I think we'll just kind of leave it for now. But the eye sockets have to be fixed. Um, and so let's change that. I'm going to go to the eyeballs here, go to faces, and turn back on symmetry and turn on X-ray mode. We can go to the front viewport as well. And let's bring them way in like about there. So that's going to be quite a big change. And can't even see them. They're buried in there so deep. All right. So if I have a good head here with the ears, I have not made a copy of it yet. Oh my! And it's got the UVs with the eyeballs in there. There's the eyeballs down there at the bottom. And let's see, where did I put this little guy? It's off to the side still. Okay, so we could probably manage a space up here for it. Turn on the checkers again. Yeah, looks like it's a little bit bigger than maybe. But let's get that basic quadruped head though. Let's take this and the eyes and let's duplicate them and then group them. And then let's give that group its own space back over here. There we go. So there's our, whoop, don't want to do anything with the space bar on accident. There we go. Okay, so the eyes are in there. I can see them through one side, but and through the other. Okay, good. Like I should see them through both, right? Okay, so I have my quadruped head with ears, with the eye socket, with the mouth cap, and now let's go in here to the eye socket itself. So I'll go to face here, and let me close. Oh, I gave the eyeball another color too. Let's finish that off. Give them the eyeball color. There we go. So easier to see. Okay, grab the faces in here, close my. This is where again the UVs make it way easier to select things sometimes. So if it's inside this mouth cap, I just go over here to my eye socket, and I just grabbed all the eye socket, and then I can grab the eyeball, the eyelids around it, right? And then turn on my soft select. Let's turn off the checkerboard. Go to B, soft select, and now I can rotate this around very carefully like this. Show you from the side. Minimize some of this. Oops. Yeah, moving stuff in there, you be watch out. Gotta be watch out. All right, there we go. All right, and so going like that, and then let's make this much, much bigger and it's fall off and go to move. And let's bring this in. Still doesn't like it out here in this big corner right there. So I'm gonna go around this one and then around this one as well. And this is where the eye rings come in, super handy. We don't want them to get down here into messing around with the mouse, so let's check it. Looks like it's okay. And then maybe we can bring this part of the snout in some more. There. A little more. A little more. And that's pretty close. Take away all of that stuff here. Remember, there's an eye socket in there. But if I need to re-select, I could just go in here to the UV editor. And I think this one here is the pain point as well. We get a bigger fall off down here. Make sure our fall off is set to make sure it's set to surface, not volume, so it doesn't jump across like it was doing down there. Let me go bring it in and rotate some more. There it goes. All right, cool. I'm going to grab those eye sockets again. Turn off soft select for a moment. Go down here to the eyelid. Go around the eyelids. Symmetry is still on. Constantly double checking that. Cool. Turn back on my soft select button, and now let's see if I can keep rotating that eyelid and bringing it in a little more. Rotate some more. Go. Maybe take just the eyelid itself, this edge ring right here, and let's see if we can scale that down a little bit. There we go. Maybe bring it, I don't want to bring it forward anymore. I feel like we've really pushed that as far as we should. But let's go to the eyeball itself. Let's go to this object, go to its faces, and let's bring it back a little bit and maybe down a little bit. There we go. So now we're getting a little bit closer, maybe not down too much. There we go. Let me go back here, and we can bring some of this part over here down. Maybe crank that up. And definitely looking at my skull, box skull sitting in front of me on the desk here. And if we get too many zigzags, we can just push them we can make them more relaxed again using the relax modifier in the quad draw tool, right? Okay, cool. So this came in really deep right here. So when I was doing that curve, I really kind of pushed this in right here, and then I left the top of this out. So this might be easier to sculpt. And dang, I had soft select turned off, I guess, when I did that eyeball. What's off? Is it the eyeball? Thought I had it on. Delete it again. Object mode, there we go, duplicate special. Yep. Delete and redo them. Maybe I do that too much, I don't know, but that's pretty close. So I can think comfortably if this is two separate objects now, I have something to move closer to our reference and bring the bridge of the head up here. So we'll go Alt 3, grab these four images, Alt Control Shift, left mouse so it's less transparent, and then Control T to make it transparent mouse enabled so I can't click it on accident. Click on my Maya and it stays on top even though I didn't click the always on top. So that's cool. I can actually click these maybe. No, I cannot. Okay, great. Okay, cool. Let's fix that then. Let's go to the snout here. And let's play some gentle maneuvering in Maya still while we're here. Let's go ahead and bring that in. You can see the snout gets wider down as it goes out from the eyes. You can see up here, we definitely got these edges back too far. So I think like this one here, we can bring that whole thing forward, maybe turn down the soft select a bit and bring that forward some more. That, still a bump there. There's a very quick drop down there in the way the muzzle goes. So it's looking to me like this whole thing has got to just come down a lot, right, from where it was. Kind of like when we first did the biped recipe and we were just getting started with it. It's like, don't worry about anatomy too much. Now it's time to worry, so to speak. Get the rest of those. Make sure I got everything. Double checking in off-screen UV, I'm not getting the mouth caps selected on accident. It can be handy, so I'll keep this active off-screen. And if I accidentally grab the mouth cap in there, which I will do pretty quickly, see the X-ray mode's not giving me too much right now. These different modes have a lot of different display properties, so come down some more. Here we go, and now I'll add this edge loop here, across all the way to there. And now I can see I am getting some of that mouth cap. Or is that down, or is that the jaw below it? Let's see, is that, will it show us an extra? Yes, it did. There we go. So now you'll see I am getting some of that upper mouth cap, which I don't think I want, or do I want? Yes, I think we do want to. For now, I got the soft select on, so just be conscious of what you do and don't want to select in here, right? So if I don't want that mouth cap, I'll just deselect it all and just keep moving the snout down, right? Like that. Nice and slow. Maybe it's a bigger soft select or smaller soft select. Well, there it goes. So now it's pushing through. Now mouth cap, but there we go. So now we're really getting closer to that shape that I think we want, but it's pretty exaggerated, right? So what I can do is you can hop back over to, if you can see behind my pure ref, let's see if I can turn that pure ref off. If I go down to pure ref, I just click it one time. Transparency mouse is disabled. Now I can bring that off to the side again. And now I can click on this piece here and go back into the modeling toolkit quad draw and just yeah, hold the shift key and just very gently just try and bring this back into a softer, gentler transition from what I just did. Oop, that was a lot, so a little at a time. Gently, gently. A little bit like the sculpting tool, but yeah, I see it got a little jump right there. I don't want that. At least not yet. There we go. Okay, so pretty close now. It looks more like a fox for sure. The snout's still a little bit long, but now I can sculpt it and shape it and um, do other interesting things with it and check my reference. See, the snout's still a little bit long, longer than it should be. The upper part of the snout should come down more. I got to watch out for that inner mandible, so I have to go, into this space here and grab. See if it'll let me. Oh boy, what did I just hit? Oh, I got quad draw turned on still. Yeah, I'm bouncing around a lot here, folks. I know it's hard. There we go. Grab that mandible there, and just the faces here. I think if object X symmetry is on, if I can manage to grab the top upper part of that palette still, like that, and maybe not the stuff back here right yet, and then turn on X-ray mode. You can see there's that upper mandible part, right? It's still really wide, it's like protruding out, and that's why having it this early in the process can cause trouble. So, but I can pretty effectively scale this down. So switch to move, back to scale, so it's centered. There we go, and just scale that in ever so carefully, ever so slightly. And then also, I think I'm gonna scale, rotate it this way and then bring it down some more. There we go, so I'm looking at my skull reference, and the upper part leaves a lot of space for the nasal cavity. See if you guys can see this all right. They leave a lot of space for the nasal cavity in here and for the eyeballs up here too. There we go. Eyeballs might be a little bit high still. Compare that to our box. A little bit, yeah. So grab back to object, grab those eyes again. They're still separate objects, dang. Not really. mess that up. Combine them again. Bring them back here. That's why I just keep treating them as stock, as like just something that I'm using as a baseline to shape the face to. That's why it's so important. Yeah, see, it's all getting funky ass. What the hell is happening? It's like it's using some soft mode, soft select. I have the whole thing selected. How can it do any weird soft select fall off if I selected the whole damn thing? They still round? They're still round. All right, I'll have to look into this and see what's causing. Maybe go to vertex mode. Bring them down. I'm just not confident right now the way the tool's acting. If I move it, if it's going to ruin the eyes again. Okay, I'll have to let go of that thought and not worry about it too much. There we go. Okay. Okay, back here in object mode. Um, you'll see some of the stuff is really starting to shape funny, getting away a little bit. So we can bring some of these curves back forward again. There we go. Maybe this way. This one came back quite a way. Oh, I got it. There we go. And get in here and shape the eyelid a little more carefully around the eyeball. Okay, so that's where I'm at here. I'm going to stop and we'll pick it up and get in there and see if we can finish up the eyelid a little bit better.